My mother-in-law, Beth, cries out, clutching her stomach. The paramedics soon arrive and carries Beth on a stretcher.
Is she your daughter? Can you come with us?
Beth then looks at me with a pained look on her face as she clutches her stomach. She's just my son's wife. She's not my daughter. Beth corrects them, even though she looks like she's in real pain.
Excuse me, ma'am. But she is your relative, isn't she? Will you just come with us?
The paramedic asks me that question. I give Beth a cold glare and said this. I will not accompany her to the hospital. My name is Carla. I am a 27-year-old housewife. My husband Leon and I have been married for 3 years. My husband and I met at a mixer hosted by our mutual friend. He is a very cheerful person who speaks to everyone without any hesitation, and I thought he was a kind and nice person. Compared to him, I'm rather boring and shy, so I admire people like him. I was sure that he wouldn't even consider me as someone he'd want to get close to seriously, but to my surprise, he began to approach me.
Carla, are you interested in camping?
Camping? I've only been to it once when I was a student.
I see. I like camping a lot, so why don't some of us go camping together next time?
I'd love to go camping with you. At first, we went camping with about 4 people, and then I started talking to him about various things, and we grew closer. He started actively asking me out to dinner and on dates, and we started to go out. Then about 2 years into our relationship, he proposed to me, and I was to marry him. I was very happy, and I was at the height of my happiness. We then went to greet his parents to inform them about our marriage. My impression of his in-laws was good. My father-in-law, Walter, was bright and kind, just like him. My mother-in-law, Beth, was more of a quiet type, and although she was smiling the whole time, she did not speak much. So I mistakenly thought that she was a similar type to me, and felt close to her. I realized that I was wrong when I visited my in-laws at a family party. As soon as Beth saw me, she looked at me coldly and said, "Hurry up and come to the kitchen and help me." And when I went to the kitchen, she said harshly, "You're such a slowpoke. Can't you just get on with it?" And she would say harsh things to me. At first, I thought she was acting that way because she was busy. However, Beth was very strict to me and made me clean every nook and cranny of the house. She made me clean places that I thought no one would look at during the party. By the time the dinner party was over, I was exhausted. However, Beth gave me instructions on this and that without even thinking how I feel. "Hey, there is an empty glass. Go pour the beer." After giving me these orders, Beth would say something to our relatives to look down on me. "Please excuse Carla being a really uncaring wife. She grew up all spoiled and it's hard for me to teach her everything." Beth laughs hysterically as she says that. I was surprised that she not only insulted me, but also casually insulted my parents. I glanced at my husband, who was drinking a lot of alcohol and making a lot of noise. He didn't seem to care about me at all, which made me feel lonely. That's how Beth was at our first party at my parents-in-law's house. She was not at all like me. She was not at all as quiet as she had been when we greeted each other in marriage. Perhaps she was trying to determine what kind of woman I was at that time.
"Carla, I am sorry for giving you a hard time."
It was Walter who said this to me as I was going back and forth between the kitchen and the living room.
"My wife has a big attitude like that, and she's a bit of a brat. Leon is our only son, and we had him pretty late, and we spoiled him a bit. I may have caused a little trouble for you, even though you're his wife."
Walter said so and apologized to me. "It's not a trouble for me." I said so because I felt bad for Walter. But at that time, I didn't really feel that it was a trouble for me at all. I often hear stories about mother-in-laws who are strict with their daughter-in-laws, and I also hear that some husbands are not very cooperative. Besides, my husband is kind when we are home alone, and he shares the household chores with me. So I wasn't that unsatisfied.
"Thank you for saying so. I look forward to seeing you again."
It was nice to see you too. It was also significant that Walter was kind to me in that way. Beth might have a big attitude only at a party like this. I was surprised by this time, but I still thought that I shouldn't assume Beth or my husband to be who they were. After that, I went back to my normal life. My husband is the same as usual. He helps me with housework and he is kind and cheerful. My husband was not the type to go back to his parents' house that often. He would return back to his parents at Thanksgiving's, Christmas, or New Year's. So for about a year after we got married, I hardly had anything to do with Beth. However, that situation changed when Walter was seriously injured in an accident and needed nursing care. We were asked by Beth to move in with her.
Carla, my mom said that, and I'm worried about my dad too, so please, can we live with them?
My husband begged me. I was surprised because my husband had never asked me that seriously. Walter's condition must not be good. I was also worried about Walter. That is why I agreed to move in with them. But I didn't think it would be the biggest mistake of my life. We moved into my parents-in-law's house and started living together. Then Beth said to us kindly, "Thank you for coming and taking care of us from now on," she said kindly. Just as I was thinking that Beth's attitude was normal, she said to me, "Well then, I want you to do some housework for me right away." Excuse me? What? You're the wife who married into this house, so it's natural for you to do the housework, isn't it? I want you to vacuum and wipe the floor as soon as possible. What are you doing? Hurry up and move. Oh, okay. Beth treated me like a slave right after we started living together, and I became worried about my future at once. Beth was not behaving like this because she was busy with family party, but because she has always been like that. Since then, Beth has been pushing me to do all the housework. I work full-time, so I cannot do housework during the day, but Beth complained and forced me to do an unbelievable amount of housework after I came home from work. When I come home from work, I wash the dishes Beth has eaten for lunch, and then I cook dinner and clean the bath and prepare the bath for her, and also clean up the rooms and the toilet as well. And in the morning, I have to make breakfast in the morning, and Beth even forces me to make my husband's lunch. Don't make Leon eat something that is bad for his health, like a pre-made meal. She would get angry at me, so I would have to get up early in the morning and cook every day, whipping my tired body into shape. As I continued such a life, my body reached its limits, and the quality of my housework and my work began to get worse. You slowpoke! You're so slow at anything you do. You really are useless. Beth would abuse me like that. I became more and more exhausted, both physically and mentally. But the saddest thing for me was that my husband did not say anything to me when he saw me in such a situation. On the contrary, since we started living together, my husband did nothing to help around the house. If my husband had helped me with the housework, like he had in the past, it would have made things a little easier for me. But well, if my husband tried to do the housework, Beth might stop him and not let him do it. Still, I wanted him to at least show me that he was willing to support me. I had no choice but to quit my job because it became too difficult for me to balance housework and work, and I didn't think my body could take it any longer. Beth had always grumbled to me about women working in an office, so I decided to quit. I didn't like the idea of being with Beth during the day, but I had no choice considering the burden on my own body. However, my burden did not decrease. In addition to the housework, Beth also forced me to take care of Walter. Then, please take care of the rest. With that, Beth went out of town for shopping and lunch. I couldn't leave Walter alone, so I did my best to take care of him while doing the housework.
Carla, I am so sorry. I didn't think she was that insane and helpless.
Walter didn't think that Beth would force me to take care of him, and he was quite shocked. I mean, they were a married couple. It would be natural for him to feel sad if he was treated like that by his own wife. I felt sorry for Walter, so I tried to talk to him a lot while I was caring for him. He told me many stories about his past, memories of Beth, and my husband's childhood. I enjoyed talking with Walter very much, and it was the most relaxing time for me because I was busy with housework. The rest of the time was really tough. Beth still picks on me and my husband is indifferent. Once I talked to my husband about Beth, but he said, "I'm tired from work," and he never listened to me. He was not kind to me anymore, and like Beth, he complained and ordered me to do housework and other chores. I was considering divorce, but I had already quit my job and my parents live in a rural area, so I could not go home easily. Therefore, I could not take the decision to divorce. A year passed after I spent those difficult days. Walter was getting weaker and weaker, and he no longer had the strength to continue to live any longer. In contrast, Beth and my husband became more and more demanding, and I just had enough. Then one day, Walter said to me,
Carla, thank you for everything. You have worked hard enough. You should live your own life now.
"What does that mean?"
Leave Leon and leave this house.
"Huh?"
You are still young. You shouldn't waste your life in a place like this.
But I don't have the strength to live on my own.
Leave that to me.
Huh?
Take the key to this house and leave.
This is...
I bought the apartment for you, Carla.
What?
Thank you for taking care of me until now. I'm thanking you for that.
Oh, no, I can't accept it.
If this continues, Carla, you'll suffer even more. Please, let me thank you. I just want to make sure I don't have any regrets, so please, let me just thank you.
Walter. I decided to accept Walter's token of gratitude, and I proceeded to carefully prepare for the move. I sent my belongings little by little so that Beth and my husband would not realize as much as possible. It took a long time, but I was almost ready to complete the move. That was when it happened. On Saturday morning, Beth suddenly started having a very painful stomachache. She had gone out for drinks with her friends the day before, and she had eaten a lot of raw oysters. That must be why she was having that stomachache. Beth cowered down with her stomach in her hands. Then my husband started getting ready to go out. I thought he was going to take her to the hospital, but he was looking kind of funny. Then my husband took his large suitcase and said this to me.
Well, I'm off to go camping, so take care of Mom and Dad.
I was truly dumbfounded. His own mother was suffering like this, and yet he'd rather go out camping. But I felt it was too much trouble to get angry at my husband, so I said nothing and sent him off. Meanwhile, Beth was on the floor screaming, "Call an ambulance!" I had no choice but to call an ambulance for her. The paramedics soon arrived and carried Beth on a stretcher.
Is she your daughter? Will you come with us?
Beth then looks at me, holding her stomach and looking distressed. "She's just my daughter-in-law. She's not my daughter." Beth corrects them, even though she seems to be in pain.
Well, I apologize, but you are her relative, right? Can you come with us?
The paramedic asked. I gave Beth a cold stare and said, I will not accompany her to the hospital. It's been really hard for me because she has been bullying me a lot and even forced me to take care of Walter all on my own. I will be leaving home now and getting a divorce, so I am a stranger to her now. When I said this, Beth said, "No way," and was speechless. I didn't care. I went to my room and started packing the rest of my stuff. The paramedics awkwardly carried Beth out. After I finished packing my things, I went to Walter's room. "Walter, thank you so much for your help."
That's my line. Thank you so much. Be happy.
Walter waved at me with those final words. I waved back, left Walter's room, and left my parents-in-law's house. Since a few days ago, I had actually called for a care helper when Beth was not around, and the helper will be here today to take care of Walter, so I could move into my new apartment in peace. The apartment Walter bought for me is quite beautiful and spacious, which surprised me. This probably cost $300,000. By the time the move was completed, the process of changing the name to mine had been completed, so the condo was mine now. All that remained was to find a job and make a living on my own. A few hours later, my husband called me all panicked.
Hey, why did you accompany Mom to the hospital? Mom was so angry.
Because there's no obligation for me to accompany her when I'm going to be a stranger, right?
Huh?
I'm divorcing you. I left the divorce papers on the table.
Oh no. Why?
Why? We're really done for if you don't understand that. You've been indifferent to Beth's constant abuse towards me, and to top it off, you've started to use me just like how Beth did. How can I possibly want to be with someone like that forever?
But even if you get divorced, you have nowhere to go.
Unfortunately, I have a house that Walter gave me.
Huh?
He gave me a condo.
What?
Well, since that's the way it's going to be, you'll have to communicate through my lawyer now.
Oh, hey!
I said that and hung up the phone. Apparently, my husband and Beth made a huge deal about it after that, but Walter just ignored them. Walter called a lawyer and divorced Beth in the end as well. He then kicked my husband and Beth out of the house, sold the family home, and placed himself in a nursing care home. Beth and my husband lost their house, and since I had also filed a claim for alimony due to abuse and moral harassment, they are now in debt and currently living in poverty. On the other hand, I was able to find a new job, and now I am living comfortably in the house Walter gave me. From now on, I will live a peaceful life while searching for what I want to do. Why would you want to pick on your own daughter-in-law? I really don't understand it. But still, I'm glad Carla went through with taking care of Walter. I'm surprised that she was able to get a condo as a gift. I hope she'll find a wonderful man this time and be happy. Thanks for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video. Hold up, why is there a plate missing? We're a 5-person family, right? Ah, gotcha. So, I'm the odd one out? Cool, I'll just head out and you won't have to deal with me anymore. And just like that, I bounced with my man. They had no idea the storm they just kicked up. I'm Julie, a 30-something, working the 9-to-5 grind. Right now I'm dating this guy, Carlos. We kicked it in high school, and being the same age, we just clicked. Swapped numbers, had regular dates, and bam, official couple status. Fast forward 2 years and he pops the question.
Julie, I want to roll with you for the long haul. Will you marry me?
I'm all in. Let's do this. And that settled it. We were getting married. Next up was meeting the folks to share our big news. My parents totally dug him from the get-go. He's as real as they come, and they caught that vibe instantly. Chilling with my family was all smiles and good vibes, but facing his family was a whole other ballgame. Man, was I sweating bullets. First time meeting the in-laws, and trust me, intros are not my strong suit. But get this, we roll up to his place and it's like MTV Cribs level. This is where you grew up?
Yup.
It's like Mega Mansion status. Are you all loaded or what?
It's complicated.
So how do you guys have this swanky pad?
Chill, I'll break it down later.
Okay. Now, with them living so fancy, I was low-key stressing if they'd vibe with a regular gal like me. He buzzes in and the gate's like straight out of a Hollywood movie. Honestly, it felt like I was walking onto some star's estate. At the doorstep, his mom's there with the welcome wagon. Hey there.
Hey Mom, this is Julie, my girl.
Hello, I'm Julie. I tried to play it cool, but I could feel her sizing me up before she's like, come on in. Inside? Talk about ritzy. Plush everything, top shelf gadgets, and art that probably costs more than my apartment. Walking further in, I meet the rest of the family. Hi, nice to meet you, I'm Julie. I tried to keep it friendly, but both Dad and Sis shot me that same once over and seemed meh.
Guess we can't judge a book by its cover?
Yeah, because this cover is real bad. Come again?
What's the deal here? Zip it. Our top priority is looking out for our boy. We can't have him picking up just anyone.
Are they for real? Shading me on our first hello?
If she's here, it's because I see a future with her. Chill with the comments, alright? To anyone else, you all are out of line.
Carlos had my back, but that just fired them up more.
You've got some nerve talking like that to your family.
We make time for this, and you're throwing shade? It was like Carlos versus the world. I wanted to back him up, but didn't want our first meet to be World War III. Then his dad flips the script.
So Julie, you got a degree?
Yes, from XX University.
Huh, impressive. You've got chops.
That's a decent spot. Seems my college credit chilled the vibe a smidge. But rocking that outfit after going to XX University? Really? Quipped his sis, Sarah. Sarah looked like she walked straight out of a fairy tale, flaunting her high-end duds and flowy locks. I might not radiate that same glam, but hey, I'm not exactly slumming it in the style department either. I've got my own fashion vibe. No one asked for the critique, but whatever.
Sarah, ease up.
Sheesh, bro, why so touchy? Now who's really poking the bear here? So, Julie, you working these days? Yes, I work at an office. Planning to quit once you tie the knot? Excuse me? Well, being the eldest son's wife and all seems like the drill. I'm not planning on quitting my job. Seriously? That's unexpected. A wife's place is backing up her man at home.
Mom, chill. If she wants to keep her gig, I'm all for it.
Aw, so you're wrapped around her finger?
You've got it wrong. Julie just needs a little guidance. She's gotta get on our wavelength first. Hold on, whose wavelength are we talking about? Look, I run this joint. Carlos, it's on you to keep our traditions alive. Seriously, can we not play the old school family card? It's cringe. Cringe? What's that supposed to mean?
You're dropping the ball as the next in line.
Just hearing next in line is... ugh. Whatever, son. Do your thing, but don't drag our name through the mud. Got it.
And that capped off my intro to the family. We were both spent, even if it only lasted half a day.
Julie, my bad. They're a handful, right?
Handful's one way to put it. Over the top traditional, maybe? He just shook his head.
Seriously though, our roots? Nothing grand. Pops works a regular job, and at 56, he's middle of the pack. Mom's side, standard stuff.
Then what's with the mansion?
Oh, that old thing? Grandpa hit the jackpot and snagged it.
Jackpot?
Yup, after he checked out, Dad got the keys. They're not exactly blue-blooded, just landed a big crib and it went to their heads. It's all show and it irks me. Sarah was still small back then, so she's clueless. But me? I was already 14 then. I saw it for what it was.
Gotcha. I could tell he was wrestling with his own stuff. Major props to him for turning out solid. His family might be a wild card, but our union was golden. My folks met his, and after giving them the 411 on his unique crew, they rolled with it like champs. Our wedding was a blast. We jetted off, came back, and kicked off married life. Pure bliss. But cue his family making cameo appearances. And way more than we'd signed up for. His mom, non-stop calls, usually during my work grind, for the tiniest things. Stop by the store and get me this and that. With Carlos on board, I hit block. Instant peace. But oh boy, did that light her fuse. Man, she had the nerve to show up at my job. Just as I was about to grab lunch with a coworker, bam! There she was on the first floor of my building. As soon as she caught sight of me, her eyes went wild and she beelined my way. What's up with the silent treatment? She snapped, looking like she might go off any second. Super awkward. I mean, the whole floor was buzzing. And not just with my coworkers. There were folks from other departments, and even some people I'd never met before. Not wanting to make a scene, I bailed on my lunch buddy and pulled her aside. Look at you, big shot company employee. Hey, this is my job. You probably just sip coffee and push paper. She's so quick to judge. Keep ghosting me and I'll haunt this place daily. You're kidding, right? You owe me an apology, first off. Okay, I'm sorry. Actions speak louder, you know. Make it up with a sushi treat.
Are you serious?
No treat, no sincerity, huh? All right. Grumbling, I took her to this swanky sushi joint. She went to town. Rolls, beers, the works. I had to stay sober because of work and hardly touched my food, worrying about the incoming bill. She racked up a small fortune, and those beers weren't helping. It irked me to spend like that. Later, I spilled the beans to my hubby, who lost it.
Mom, what's wrong with you? Crashing in Julie's work and then the pricey sushi gig? Really?
Just a little life lesson for my daughter-in-law, she chuckled.
Ugh, she drives me nuts.
I've held my tongue, given she's family, but anyone else, and I'd have told her off. Then, a couple of months down the line, another drama popped up. Out of the blue, the in-laws wanted us over. We showed up, and there they are, all dolled up. Seeing our laid-back look, they just sighed. Ever heard of dressing for the occasion?
What occasion? Sarah's soon-to-be husband's dropping by. Wait, she's engaged?
News to us. It felt like a setup. The mood tanked. Sarah then dashed off, and soon she's back with her fiancé.
Hello, I'm Sean.
Thank you for making the time to meet us today. As the folks welcomed him, it was a 180 from my first meet. They were practically swooning. Sorry for the dress code snafu. They were out of the loop, they quipped. I was fuming, but credit to Sean, he was chill.
Don't sweat it. Clothes don't make the man, he said, all smiles. Fast forward to dinner and there's more sushi. Everyone starts sitting at the table. Mom-in-law goes, Julie, handle the tea? Sure. I brewed a pot, but when I got back, something was off. Everyone has sushi, but one spot was empty. I asked her, hold up, why is there a plate missing? Grinning, she said, we're a 5-person family, right? Dad and Sis barely kept a straight face. Aha, gotcha. They'd played me from the get-go. So I'm the odd one out? Cool. I'll just head out and you won't have to deal with me anymore. What? My words threw my in-laws for a loop. They probably didn't see that clapback coming. I started packing up my stuff. My hubby jumped up. If she's out, I'm out. I can't call people who treat her like this family. Hold up, Carlos. You don't need to storm out. Yeah, you belong here, Carlos. Stay with us. Enough, she's my wife. I can't just stand by. We're leaving, Julie. He was ready to roll. I shot a look at my in-laws. You thought I was just a pushover, huh? Think about how you've acted. We're done playing nice. We're cutting you off. And with that, we headed out. They'd rue this day. Fast forward a week and my sister-in-law's calling. My husband and I took it on speaker. Hey, didn't we make it clear? Seriously? My engagement's off. What did you pull? She fumed. We just gave Sean a little heads up. How do you even know him? Well, not directly. My aunt's the bigwig at his company. Are you serious? Yeah, she said he's a real catch, super talented and well paid. Bet you saw dollar signs. We just gave him a friendly alert about you. You're delusional. Oh, but we're in the loop. Your family's up to their eyeballs in debt. Say what? Sad, right? Living the high life on borrowed time. Now you're hunting a rich guy to bail you out. Sean wasn't thrilled to hear the news. Because of that chat we had with your family the other day, he was already having second thoughts about you. No way. But, hey, your engagement? That's on you. If your crew hadn't tried to mess with me, we wouldn't be here. Hold up. Look, I'll apologize, so help us out. Your aunt's a big deal, right? Any chance she'd help us out financially? But my husband cut her off. Knock it off. No more favors. Clean up your own mess. He ended the call. Despite more calls from the in-law gang, we blocked them. When my mother-in-law tried to corner me at work, I called the cops.
After they saw her threatening me, she got a one-way ticket to the precinct. With a restraining order in our pocket, we kept our distance. The in-laws? They were sinking in debt, and their old money mansion, the market tanked, and the once pricey estate wasn't fetching much. They tried keeping it, but between the debt and property taxes, they were scraping by. My hubby still gets those help me emails, but he just deletes. On our end, things are peachy. We're now raising our child together in our comfortable home, hoping to continue building a warm family together.
Hey, Marley, do you know what you've done? What kind of nerve do you have to abandon your duties as a wife and cause trouble for Rory? You really are the worst kind of wife. I'm going to teach you a thing or two.
Katie, there's a reason why I left.
It doesn't matter. We're moving into a new, beautiful apartment. If you want to move in with us, I'll tell you where our new home is.
I'm sure that Katie still doesn't know anything about the truth. So to me, I thought this was a good thing. No, thank you.
Huh?
My name is Marley. I am a 35-year-old office worker. My husband Rory and I have been married for 5 years. My husband is now 40 years old, 5 years older than me. I used to like older men, and I was attracted to him because he was kind and calm. And we continued our relationship as a couple and got married eventually. Married life was happy in its own way. However, a few months ago, my peaceful life began to fade away.
I got fired.
What? My husband was suddenly laid off. The reason was that the company's business condition had worsened due to the recession. I had never imagined that my husband would be laid off, because he worked for a major company. I thought we would be able to live without worrying about money with his good salary. But I guess the reality is cruel sometimes. Before I knew it, we were in a really tight spot. I was a housewife, but I decided to work right away. I contacted the company I had left when I got married, but luckily they agreed to hire me. Apparently, there was an employee who had just left the company since she got married. I was relieved to know that I was in safe hands, finding a place to work. If my husband could find a new job, we would be fine. However, re-employment for a middle-aged man like him is a bit tough, and my husband had no choice but to work part-time. His part-time salary averaged about $700 per month. Since I began to work after 5 years of blank, my salary is not that high. At this rate, we are barely scraping by. Hey, the rent is a bit expensive here, so why don't we move? I think it would be better to find a cheaper place and save for now. To make life easier, we still need to lower our fixed costs. Until now, I had been living in a reasonably good apartment because of my husband's good salary. But I should take a hard look at reality and live in an apartment that is much more cheaper than the one we are living in now. But my husband was against my suggestion.
No, we're not moving from here.
What? Why not?
If we move to a smaller and cheaper apartment than where we're living right now, my mother will ask me the reason, you know?
I didn't understand what he meant. Why don't you just tell the truth to your mother? That we were having a hard time making ends meet because you got laid off due to the recession. When I said that, my husband's face turned red and he raised his voice.
Stop it. Don't ever tell my mother that I got laid off. We can pay the rent with your salary and my earnings. So why don't we just leave it as is?
I was surprised and disappointed at the same time. Is his pride and vanity more important than protecting our married life? Even though we're barely able to pay the rent, our life is so difficult that we can't save any money at all, which is why I was proposing to move out like this to him. But my husband would not even try to understand my point when it came to this, so I had no choice but to give it up. After that, life continued to be difficult. In the midst of all this, my husband said this to me.
Hey, is this all you cooked for dinner today? You used to cook a lot more dishes. You're not skipping work just because you started working, aren't you? You should be more efficient in balancing work and family.
My husband's words made me angry, so I argued back. It can't be helped. Our life is really in a tight spot right now. I'm doing my best at home and at work. Someone is too proud that he insists on living here that I have no choice but to cut back on food expenses. Or maybe if he could just go and earn more money, that would be better. When I said this in a provocative way, my husband snapped.
What the heck? Don't say that to me, like you're trying to get back at me. You just wait and watch. I'll get another job at a major company and earn more money than you.
That's how angry my husband was. I thought he was being annoying, but I convinced myself that if this had motivated my husband, that was fine. However, my husband, who was originally unable to find a new job and had to work part-time, would never be able to find a new job, even if he became motivated now. I could understand if he studied a lot and got different qualifications or something like that to prove his skills, but he didn't do anything like that, and he just worked part-time. My husband got fed up by the interviewers at every job interview, and having to please the interviewers, who were all most likely younger than him, and eventually stopped job hunting. I was disappointed that he had given up after declaring what he had said and saying he would earn more money than me. And it is not only my husband that I am worried about. I just received another call earlier today. It was my mother-in-law, Katie, who'd call me even though I was at work. In the morning alone, there were more than 10 missed calls from her. When I returned the call during my lunch break, Katie's voice was screaming from the other end of the line.
Hey, you should answer the phone right away.
I told you last time that I was at work, didn't I?
I don't care about your stupid work. You better prioritize my calls.
Since Katie lost her husband a year ago, she has been calling me a lot. Perhaps it was because she felt lonely, but her phone calls felt like they were always trying to monitor me, asking me if I was properly supporting her son. And recently, when she heard that I had started working, she got angry like a demon, and now she is calling me at work like this.
So, I wonder if you're discussing with Rory properly. I haven't gotten a straight answer from him at all.
I'm sorry, but we can't live together, Katie.
I'm not asking for your opinion. I don't think Rory would be opposed to that idea.
No, my husband also says that we can't right now. Besides, we are in a difficult financial situation right now.
What do you mean? Rory works for a major company. He's well paid, so he should be able to afford to live.
I am always at a loss for words when she'd say things like that to me. I'm not allowed to tell Katie about Rory being laid off, so he can't tell her the truth either. Therefore, Katie assumes that I am selfishly working but lying about how hard it is to make ends meet. Katie's phone calls are insistent, not only when I am at work, but also when I am home in the evening.
Generally speaking, a wife should make it her priority to support her own husband, and taking care of her husband means taking care of his mother too. You haven't come to see me at all recently. You should come visit here.
I'm exhausted from my full-time job as an office worker, and my husband works on shift during weekend as well. That's why our days off don't match. I'm sorry, we're both very busy and our schedules don't really work out.
I don't care about your schedule. Besides, Rory is off on weekends, right? He can come either way.
Katie must be very frustrated with me because she kept insisting us to visit her. I thought it was time for me to give up, so I tried to tell her the truth about my husband. No, my husband is currently working on weekends, and...
Huh? What do you mean?
Actually... As I was about to tell the truth, my husband, who had been lying on the sofa watching TV earlier, ran up to me and took my phone.
Oh, Mom, I'm sorry. I haven't been able to visit you lately. I'm actually working on a big project right now, and I'm also working on my days off. I'll come see you after I get settled with work.
With that, my husband hung up the phone and handed it back to me. What are you doing?
Why were you trying to tell my mother the truth?
Let's just talk honestly to her about the truth. If we continue on like this, she'll always misunderstand.
I'm sorry, but don't tell my mother about it.
Why don't you just let go of that petty pride already?
Shut up. I've been providing for you all this time, Yeah, how dare you talk to me like that?
With these words, my husband retreated to his room. I'm already stressed out because we're barely making ends meet, but when his mother-in-law's criticism and my husband's selfishness were added to the mix, it's just too much for me. My husband says his job is too much work and does not do any housework. He works on weekends and once or twice a week during the weekdays. Since he's capable of working, I would like to see him increase his income by taking on other part-time jobs or a full-time job. Or I want him to learn how to take care of the house and take the initiative to do the chores. I decided to leave home for a while because I was fed up with my husband who complained about various things, even though he wasn't doing it, and leaving all the housework to me. And plus, I was making more money than him. I decided to go back to my parents' house for a week or so to show my husband how hard housework is. I had told my parents in detail about the current situation at home, so they told me that I should just get a divorce as soon as possible. Yet I had been romantically married to my husband, and we had been married for 5 years, so I did not want to go through a divorce so easily. I thought that if I was going to divorce him, I would do everything I could to try to improve the situation, and if that didn't work, I would divorce him. Sure enough, when I returned to my parents' house, I received a phone call from my husband.
Hey, when are you coming home? Where's my dinner?
I won't be home for a while, so do all the housework in the meantime by yourself.
Huh? You've got to be kidding me. Don't be stupid, just come home and do the housework.
No, I won't. I'll make you understand how hard house chores are. You have to clean the house, do the laundry, and cook all by yourself. So you'll know how hard it was for me to do all that while I'm working. I said that as I hung up the phone. My husband had called me many times, but I ignored all of them. For the first time in a long time, life at my parents' house was very relaxing. The three of us could share the housework with my father and mother, and my mother would say, "Aren't you tired?" and she served us many home-cooked meals. I really appreciated the fact that I didn't have to do anything and the meals got served. So I stayed at my parents' house for about a week. I really wanted to stay a little longer, but my parents' house is quite far from my workplace, and it takes me an hour and a half each way to commute, which is hard, and I thought it was about time my husband understood how hard housework is. Then I came home for the first time in a long time. I was worried that it might be dirty, but the rooms were cleaner than I had expected. But I felt somewhat uneasy. Could it be? I went to check my husband's room and found that the clothes and suitcases in his closet were gone. I thought to myself, he must have gone to his parents' place. I thought so and called my husband.
Oh, you're calling me now, huh?
Where are you right now?
I'm at my parents' house.
You went to your parents' house right after I left, is that right?
That's right.
What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense.
You shouldn't have left in the first place, right? I'm already angry. I'm not going back to that house.
What do you mean?
I'm going to live with my mom.
You mean you're going back to your parents' house?
Yeah, and I'm not just going back. I'm moving into a new apartment with her.
What? I didn't understand what he meant. As I was at a loss for words, the voice on the phone changed. Hey, Marley? Do you realize what you've done? What kind of nerve do you have to abandon your duty as a wife and cause trouble for Rory? You really are the worst kind of wife. I'll make sure to teach a thing or two to you. Katie, there's a reason I left. It doesn't matter. We're moving into a new beautiful apartment. You want to come too, don't you? If you want to move in with us, I'll tell you where our new place is. I am sure Katie still doesn't know anything about the real truth. To me, I thought this was a great opportunity. No, thank you. Huh? I immediately refused, and Katie sounded dumb since she didn't expect that from me. So I said, I'm not going to live with you guys. Are you serious? If Rory is going to live with me, that means you will live alone unless you come over here. You can't live alone, can you? Don't worry, I have enough money to live by myself. If we don't live together, there's no need for us to be a couple. So, I'm divorcing my husband. What? I said the word divorce, and I could hear Katie and my husband's surprised voices over the phone.
Wait a minute, Marley. There's no need for that, right?
I can't stay married to you anymore. I want to get rid of a useless husband like you as soon as possible. When I said that and made fun of my husband, Katie snapped.
How dare you talk to Rory like that? I don't want a wife like you. Rory, hurry up and get a divorce.
No.
I'll get the divorce papers. You rude woman. Make sure you regret asking for a divorce. It's too late to apologize now.
I will return the same exact words to you, Katie. As I said that, the phone went dead. Perhaps Katie and my husband will come here with the divorce papers. I am thankful that things are going my way, though. I have already given up on my husband completely when he went back to Katie's place without trying to reflect about his own actions. There is no way he will ever change. Then there is no need for us to be together. I decided to pack my bags until Katie and Rory arrived. A few hours later, Katie came over alone. Oh, Rory's not here?
I don't need him to see you. Here you go. I've already made Rory sign his section. You sign your part as soon as possible, too.
With these words, Katie thrusted the divorce papers at me. I think my husband's handwriting is all trembly.
He really is a kind-hearted child. Rory was reluctant to divorce even though you're such a lousy wife to him. I will never forgive you for causing trouble to such a wonderful person. I hope you live a poor, sad life and regret it.
While I was filling out my part of the form, Katie kept on saying bad things to me. I guess my husband's pride got in the way and he couldn't tell Katie the truth until the very end. He really is a pathetic man, after all. What did you do with your house?
Oh, I sold it. So even if you come over, you can't live there.
No, I won't do that. How much did you sell it for? It was pretty old, so it won't sell for a high price.
That's none of your business. But I'll tell you since I'm nice. It sold for about $50,000. It's not much, but it will be enough for my retirement. And Rory will pay the rent for the new apartment.
Wow, I'm surprised he got approved for the mortgage.
What are you talking about? Rory is a well-paid man, so it's only natural.
Did you put that $50,000 into Rory's account by any chance?
Huh? Yes, how did you know? I mean, who cares? Don't pry into my affairs anymore, since you're divorcing Rory. It's obvious you're still hung up on him. But it's too late for that.
And don't worry, I've agreed to the divorce. I'll file the divorce papers. When I said that, Katie left. I was overjoyed to be free from Katie and Rory. I packed up the rest of my belongings and moved them to my parents' house. Then looked for an apartment for myself and signed a contract. Incidentally, I successfully provoked Katie so that I could get rid of the property division.
I can't hand over Rory's valuable property to you.
The pale face of my husband, who was participating in the discussion about the division of property, is funny, even now when I remember it. One day, about 2 years later, I received a phone call from an unknown number. Who on earth could it be in the morning before work? Thinking it might be a work-related call, I picked up the phone and to my surprise, it was my ex-mother-in-law.
Oh, Marley, please help me.
Oh, Katie, I can't have you calling me. We are strangers now.
Please, don't say that. I'm in a lot of trouble.
What, you two can't pay the rent on the apartment anyway, and your savings have run out, and you're in trouble. Is that it?
How'd you know?
So, you didn't know about him getting laid off, huh?
What? You knew about it?
Yes, I knew and tried to tell you many times, but every time I did, Rory would stop me from telling you.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, Marley, I didn't know anything. I apologize, so will you come back again?
I don't want to. That man would never change no matter how much I tell him. You have always bullied me too. I don't want to spend time with people like you two again.
Please, don't say that. I don't have anything to eat anymore and I'm really at my wit's end.
According to Katie, my husband has been paying rent out of the $50,000 that she got from selling the family home without telling her about him being laid off, because he has been trying to look good to her. He thought Katie would get suspicious if he didn't show her how extravagant he was sometimes, so he went on expensive shopping sprees and also treated her out to expensive meals. Because he continued such a lifestyle, the $50,000 savings were all gone in no time, and they're now penniless. You both deserve it. Why don't you two put aside your stupid prides and live modestly in a cheap apartment?
It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to have an excellent son, take care of me, and live a comfortable life until I pass away.
Katie would cry like that over the phone. I just quietly hung up the phone and blocked all incoming calls. I also put a restraining order against them just in case, so if anything happened, I could report on them immediately. I guess both of them only know how to lean on someone else. I'll learn from them not to be like that and be independent. With this thought in mind, I remotivated myself and continued my work. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.